Hi everyone, welcome to the channel Ameen Info. In this video, we will discuss the exam pattern of British literature 18th century. This is the syllabus. So we have two novels in British literature 18th century. Gulliver's Travels, a very famous novel by Jonathan Swift. It is also known as a satirical novel. इसको satire बोलते हैं because Jonathan Swift has used satire through narration, setting, character and plot to illustrate the weaknesses of humans in this novel. Then the second novel that we have is Joseph Andrews by Henry Fielding. Then we have two poems in Unit 3, London by Samuel Johnson and Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard by Thomas Gray. Then we have a play, The Way of the World by William Congreve. और यूनिट 5 में सारी बैकग्राउंड रीडिंग्स हैं. Now let's see the question paper. This is the question paper of British literature 18th century. So in this question paper also we have total 6 questions and all the questions are compulsory to attempt. This question paper is divided in two sections, section A and section B. Section A में 3 questions है और section B में भी 3 questions है. So first 3 questions are of 10 marks and last 3 questions in section B that is for 15 marks. So you have to write the answers accordingly. Now let's see the questions. Critically comment on the following. Mrs. Fennell. So the first choice in this question, you have to comment on the character of Mrs. Fennell. This is from the play The Way of the World. So Mrs. Fennell is a very important character in this play. She is Lady Wishford's daughter and her full name is Mrs. Arabella Fennell. She is the widow of a rich man named Languish who died and he left all his fortune to her, to Mrs. Fennell. And she has an affair with Mirabel, but she gets married to Mr. Fennell. So you have to write about the character of Mrs. Fennell here. Now the second choice in the same question is, a better man ought not to have been sacrificed the occasion. A verse had not answered to the purpose. When you are weary of him, you know your remedy. This is also from the play The Way of the World. This is a conversation between Mirabel and Mrs. Fennell. So here Mirabel is speaking with Mrs. Fennell. He arranged her marriage with Mr. Fennell. Mrs. Fennell then asked Mirabel that why he helped her. Mirabel reminds her that she might be pregnant and this marriage was the best solution because they both had an affair earlier in this play. So you have to write about their conversation. This is that scene, that conversation going on between these two characters, Mirabel and Mrs. Fennell. Now the second question, the Struldbrugs. This is from the novel Gulliver's Travels. Struldbrugs is a name given to those humans in the nation of Lugnag. Lugnag is a kingdom in this novel. So these humans, the Struldbrugs, are born normal. These are those people who are born normal but they are actually immortal. Means उनकी age तो बढ़ती रहती है but they never die. So you have to write about the Struldbrugs. Now the second option in the same question is also from the novel Gulliver's Travels, क्योंकि यहाँ पे याहूस का जिक्र हो रहा है, as you can see. I will read the statement. For these reasons, the trade of a soldier is held the most honorable of all others, because a soldier is a Yahoo hired to kill in cold blood as many of his own species who have never offended him as he possibly can. अगर आपने गुलिवर्स ट्रेवल्स नॉवल पढ़ी है तो आपको पता होगा कि इसमें याहूज़ और यूनिम्स का क्या रोल है. सो इन दिस स्टेटमेंट Jonathan Swift is talking about the condition of England, the causes the causes of the war between the Prince of Europe. So here you have to write about that. Now the third question. To scatter plenty o'er a smiling land and read their history in a nation's eyes, their lot forbade nor circumscribed alone their growing virtues but their crimes confined. This is from the poem in your syllabus, Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard. In this stanza, the poet is talking about the dead villagers who were very talented people, but they did not get the opportunity to prove themselves, and they were like hidden gems under the ocean. who perished without any notice. And if they were given the opportunity, they would have also succeeded, and they would have proved themselves, and people would have read their good deeds in history. These villagers did not wish to get involved in trickery. They were very nice people, they were honest people, and they wished to live very simple and happy lives. So you have to, we are talking about the dead villagers here, so you have to write about that. This is a stanza from this poem. नाउ इसमें जो सेकंड चॉइस है वो हमारे सिलेबस से नहीं है, सो हमारे पास यही एक ऑप्शन है. यू हैव टू आपके पास जो चॉइस आएगी वो दोनों पोएम से आएगी. तो या तो ये होगा, नहीं तो दूसरी वाली पोएम, दोनों ही हो सकती है. फर्स्ट चॉइस आपकी एलएजी में से होगी और दूसरी लंदन से, तो आप दोनों में से कोई सा भी अटेम्प्ट कर सकते हैं. नाउ वी हैव कम टू सेक्शन बी. यहाँ से 15 मार्क्स से क्वेश्चन शुरू हो गए हैं. So fourth question is, critically analyze the competitive ethic that drives the restoration milieu as represented in the way of the world. Illustrate your answer with examples from the text. So this is from the play The Way of the World. Here in this play is इसकी setting जो हुई हुई है वो restoration period में हुई हुई है. So the use of wit is a remarkable aspect of restoration comedy, क्योंकि ये एक restoration comedy है. So the characters in this play have used language in a very tricky and clever way. This play is also a typical restoration comedy of manners. It is known as a restoration comedy of manners. The mode employed in this play is satirical and ironic, which befits the social reality of that time, the restoration period. So you have to write about that here. Now the second choice in the same question is from the novel Gulliver's Travels. So I will read this statement. When a creature pretending to reason could be capable of such enormities, he dreaded lest the corruption of the faculty might be worse than brutality itself. In light of this statement by the Hunim master, critically analyze the notions of human rationality that emerge from your reading of Gulliver's Travels. So here the Hunim master is talking to Gulliver. For the master horse, the purpose of reason is entirely unified with morality. He believes that to be reasonable is to be ethical. Therefore, to see a Yahoo who claims to be reasonable but who still comes from a land of such total vice seems impossible to the master horse. It makes no sense to him, so he tries to come up with an alternative explanation. And Gulliver looks reasonable, but he can't. But the master don't believe him. So because there is a conflict between the Yahoos and Hunims, so the master Hunim is talking against the Yahoos to Gulliver. So you have to write about their conversation. Now the fifth question. The first choice in fifth question is from the poem London by Samuel Johnson. In his poem London, Johnson uses the art of imitation as a tool of political and cultural critique of the 18th century. Do you agree? Imitation means to copy someone. So Johnson has imitated a Roman poet in this poem. This poem has represented Johnson's attempt to satirize the condition of the country, because during that time London की condition थोड़ी ख़राब थी. The poem is an imitation of the third satire of the Roman poet Juvenal, which probably dates to the 1st century. So here Johnson is imitating the Roman poet Juvenal. So you have to write about the art of imitation that Samuel Johnson has used as a tool of political and cultural critique of the 18th century. Now the second choice in the same question is from the poem Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard. You have to comment on the narrative voice that is used in this poem. The speaker has not worked to create a distinct voice. Rather, the speaker's voice is very melodious in this poem. It has inspired the poem with many levels of meaning. The poet has used dark vowels and consonants. His words choice has allowed him to provide a large information into the narrowly defined meter and rhyme patterns. So here you have to write about the narrator's voice, the type of his voice. Sixth question is not from our syllabus. दोनों ही choices जो हैं वो जिस novel से हैं वो हमारे syllabus में नहीं है, क्योंकि ये पुराना question paper है, तो उस time ये वाली novel थी. बट अब सिलेबस चेंज हो गया है, सो नाउ वी हैव जोसेफ एंड्रयूज़, और आपको जो क्वेश्चंस आएंगे वो जोसेफ एंड्रयूज़ से आएंगे। जोसेफ एंड्रयूज़ और गुलिवर्स ट्रैवल्स, या तो आपको दोनों क्वेश्चन से एक एक चॉइस आ सकती है, आप कोई सा भी अटेम्प्ट कर सकते हैं, वरना आपको दोनों चॉइस जोसेफ एंड्रयूज़ से आएगी। सो आई वुड सजेस्ट दैट आप अपनी दोनों नॉवेल्स अच्छे से पढ़ें चैप्टर वाइज, क्योंकि जो क्वेश्चंस बनते हैं वो चैप्टर से कोई भी स्टेटमेंट पिक कर ली जाती है एंड यू हैव टू एक्सप्लेन दैट। तो अगर आपने नॉवल अच्छे से पढ़ी होगी तो आप आंसर भी उतना ही अच्छा लिख पाएंगे। थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग। प्लीज़ like and share the video, and if you are new to the channel, do subscribe the channel Ameen Info and hit the bell icon for latest updates.